I was thinking as you were speaking about my own journey with meditation. I was drawn to it when I was about 10 years old. I would do these like little small dashes or forays, especially before exams. I really wanted to like appeal to a higher power to like help me. And so I'd be really good. And then I would like go back in my more dissipated ways. And then it was like 20 years into that journey of just like in and out, just sporadically, that I finally came to the conclusion, to your point, that like, look, the teaching path that I have been taught is like one which requires daily discipline. I got to get there, otherwise I'm getting nowhere. I was in my early 30s at that point, and I took it on as like a promise, a commitment to myself for the daily work and the tilling of the soil. And I've not looked back since. It's been about 18 years now, and I feel so grateful for that, like, ultimate like place of grit that I came to. One of the things that I discovered there is that initially I thought it was going to be like a tortured but like deep like commitment to something I really believed in, and I felt that ultimately it'll take me to like the doorway of something beautiful, but that it'll have to be real effortful and torture, a journey.
Yeah, you weren't thinking it was going to be pleasant or fun.
I did, and then you realize that actually after a while it starts to give you a lot of joy to be doing that. You've talked about that in your work in a much more formal way. You've studied this idea about joy being a key part of that experience. Could you talk about that more?
There are two things that are hidden in those comments that you said, or that are in those comments I just want to highlight. I think one is that I do think that joy, getting energy out of what you're doing. I mean, if you do not eventually come to that, I do not think you will be great at what you do. Nobody can, by force of self-discipline and willpower, make themselves do something as obsessively and consistently as people with real grit do. I mean, if I did not enjoy psychology, I would not be even a very good psychologist, I think, much less a great one. Same for writing, And by the way, Hitendra, there are things that I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy actually, for example, managing people. Like I have this nonprofit organization, but I don't get energy out of leading a group of people and then watching each of them grow to their potential. Now, I wish I did, but I don't. Therefore, I'd rather write about it and research it and then let somebody else actually directly manage and be the executive. So I think this idea of joy and enjoyment and energy is key. But the second thing I just want to amplify in what you just said is that it's not always possible for us to forecast with accuracy that which will give us joy in the future. So it could be in the very beginning years of something like music or meditation or leadership or writing or anything that you enjoy it more or less than you will in the future. And it can go both ways. You start off really enjoying something and then you get into it and you're like not really getting energy out of it anymore. Or it could be the opposite, as it was for you. So it's not an easy rule of thumb to follow your immediate experience, because that may or may not be a good forecast of your future experience. But I do think at least understanding that being intrinsically fulfilled by your work is necessary, if not sufficient, to becoming great at it. And knowing that there's always going to be a little bit of dynamic change there. So therefore, the human problem is not an easy one, which is like, what should I do? I don't love it right now, but maybe I will learn to. I do love it right now, but I may not always. But at least you have some principles, to navigate by.